You're exhausted. Your body is begging for sleep. Your eyes sting from the day, and your bed feels just right. But your mind, oh, it's just getting started. Suddenly you're reliving that awkward thing you said 5 years ago, or mentally rewriting tomorrow's email, or wondering randomly if koalas get lonely. Thoughts fly in like late-night guests who don't know when to leave. Some are serious, some are strange. None of them are helpful, and all you want to do is rest. You've tried everything, haven't you? Flipping your pillow, melatonin gummies, scrolling until your phone drops on your face. Still, your mind refuses to close the shop. Why is it that bedtime, the one moment we crave peace, is when the mind throws its loudest party? Here's the truth most people don't tell you. Sleep isn't just about a tired body, it's about a settled mind. And in a world where our days are fast and noisy, most of us never learned how to slow down inside. But there's a way, a soft way, one that doesn't involve forcing or fixing or fighting your thoughts. It's called meditation. And no, it's not about emptying your mind. It's about making friends with it. So if your nights are noisy and your thoughts won't hush, maybe, just maybe, it's time to try something different. Not louder, not harder, just quieter. Introduction: the quiet war before sleep. It's a strange thing, isn't it? We spend all day longing for rest, fantasizing about our bed, counting down to that soft pillow, that sweet silence, that glorious moment when we can finally stop doing. And yet, when the night finally arrives, something unexpected happens. We lie down, we close our eyes, and suddenly the mind comes alive, not in a peaceful, poetic way, more like a parade of noise that no one invited. Did you forget to send that email? What if the boss misunderstood your tone? Why did your friend sound weird on the phone earlier? What if that pain in your chest is something serious? And oh, remember that embarrassing thing from 10 years ago? Your body is ready for sleep, but your mind, it missed the memo. You know what's funny? You can be exhausted and wired at the same time. That's the modern paradox. Our bodies collapse, but our minds sprint. And no amount of lavender spray or eye masks seem to help when your inner dialogue feels like it's shouting at you in the dark. Now, let's get something straight. You're not broken. You're not bad at sleeping. And no, you don't need to download 10 different sleep apps or throw money at another high-tech sleep gadget. What you need, honestly, is a little bit of stillness, the kind that starts inside, not outside. So, what's really going on? Here's the thing. Most of us don't get a chance to process anything during the day. We move from task to task, screen to screen, conversation to conversation. Our brains are constantly chewing on input, and we never really stop to digest. Then nighttime rolls around, and boom, everything we didn't feel or think or deal with during the day decides to show up. Like a late-night talk show you never subscribed to. It's not your fault. It's just no one taught us how to slow down the inside. We were trained to chase productivity, not peace, to manage time, not tension, to keep going, not gently pause. And that's why sleep doesn't come easy. Because sleep isn't something you do, it's something you allow. Why meditation, though? Let's be clear. Meditation isn't a magic button. It's not going to clear your mind or knock you out cold. That's not the point. Meditation, especially before sleep, is about making room. Room for your thoughts to soften. Room for your breath to slow. Room for your body to stop bracing for what's next. It's like dimming the lights, not just in your room, but in your nervous system. It says, hey, it's safe now, you can let go. But isn't meditation hard? Honestly, it can feel that way at first, especially if your brain is used to being loud and busy, which, let's face it, is most of us. You might sit down to meditate and instantly feel more restless, not less. That's totally normal. It's like turning off a highway after driving 80 miles per hour. Your system needs a moment to realize it's no longer racing, but with practice, just a few minutes each night, something begins to shift. not just in your mind, but in your body. Your breath changes, your muscles soften, your thoughts lose their grip, and then, somewhere between presence and surrender, you start to drift. You don't have to be a monk. Let's drop the idea that meditation means sitting cross-legged in silence for 30 minutes, humming or chanting under candlelight. You can meditate lying in bed, in pajamas, with messy hair and a cluttered nightstand. You can be annoyed, anxious, or exhausted. It's all welcome. There's no perfect way to do this. All that matters is your intention, to pause, to notice, to be here, fully, gently, now. And that, my friend, is enough. What this article will give you, this isn't a lecture. It's not a one-size-fits-all sleep guide. It's a gentle companion for your nights. We'll explore why your mind resists sleep, the truth about what meditation really is and isn't. 5 calming meditations you can try, starting tonight. What to do when nothing seems to work. How meditation at night transforms your mornings. And yes, we'll keep it human. No preachy advice, no perfect solutions. Just practical guidance wrapped in empathy, backed by experience. Because honestly, sleep is sacred, and you deserve to approach it with grace, not pressure. So if you've ever laid awake whispering to your thoughts, please stop, just for tonight. This is for you. You're not alone in the quiet. Let's walk together. Part 1. Why can't we just shut off? The strange timing of a restless mind. Tell me if this sounds familiar. You've finally crawled into bed after a long day. The lights are off, the pillow's cold. Your body is begging for sleep. And then your brain decides it's time to host a mental TED Talk. One moment, you're relaxing. The next, you're wondering whether you've paid that bill, what your coworker meant by that weird comment, and oh, was that pain in your chest just gas or something more sinister? Suddenly the silence feels too loud, the darkness too crowded, and you're lying there thinking, why now? Why does the mind wait until bedtime to throw its biggest party? Your brain has a terrible sense of timing. Let's break this down with a little honesty. Your brain, beautiful as it is, isn't exactly great at clocking out. It doesn't look at the clock and say, oh, it's 10 p.m., time to relax. Instead, it processes based on stimulation and signals. And during the day, it's busy. You're in meetings, doing chores, checking your phone, solving problems, reacting to texts, managing a million little things. Your mind is too distracted to fully think or feel. So where do all those unprocessed emotions go? They wait, quietly, patiently, until night. That's when the mental inbox finally gets opened. And guess what? It's full. Thoughts that hide during the day appear at night. There's something eerily consistent about bedtime thoughts. They're rarely useful, rarely kind, and almost always repetitive. Regrets from years ago, fears about the future, guilt over things you did or didn't do, random mental images that make no sense whatsoever. The brain becomes a projector, showing a film you never wanted to watch. And the worst part, you're the only one in the theater. But here's the twist most people miss. This isn't a failure of your mind. It's just a sign it's been overworked, overstimulated, and under-listened to. The sleep equation isn't just physical. You're tired, your limbs are heavy, your eyes burn. So why can't you sleep? Because sleep isn't just physical. It's emotional, it's mental, it's neurological. Your body needs permission to rest, and that permission comes from the nervous system. Let me explain. The nervous system tug-of-war. Your body operates on 2 basic nervous system settings. 1. Sympathetic mode, fight, flight, stress, go, go, go. 2. Parasympathetic mode, rest, digest, restore, repair. You need both, but when bedtime hits, you need to switch from the first to the second. Problem is, most of us are stuck in sympathetic overdrive. Even when we're lying down, the system is buzzing. The mind is still scanning for threats, replaying social scenarios, planning tomorrow's calendar. There's no off switch, just constant low-level tension. This is where meditation becomes magic, not by knocking you out, but by helping your system transition. It's not about emptying your mind. It's about shifting the gear your brain is in. Let's talk about digital insomnia. We need to go there. Our phones, these glowing rectangles of infinite information, are possibly the worst bedtime companions. We scroll to relax but end up alert. We search for comfort but activate stimulation. Blue light delays melatonin. Doom scrolling spikes cortisol, and the constant flicker of dopamine. It keeps your brain addicted to micro-alertness. Even if you think you're relaxed, your brain knows better. And here's the tough truth: if you fall asleep with your phone in your hand, your sleep might be lighter, more fragmented, and far less restorative. Not because you're weak, but because your brain never got the cue to wind down. Your bed has one job: use it wisely. Here's a small, subtle trick with big impact. Train your brain to associate your bed with rest, not activity. If you work on your laptop in bed, eat snacks in bed, or scroll Instagram in bed, then your brain gets mixed signals. It starts to associate your bed with stimulation. That makes it harder to turn off when you're finally ready to sleep. Simple shift: keep the bed sacred. Make it a place that whispers, safe, quiet. Rest unprocessed emotions equals noisy nights. Let's not ignore the emotional piece here. We all carry micro wounds throughout the day. Small frustrations, disappointments, self-doubt, invisible pressures. They build up like sediment. But most of us don't stop to feel them, so they show up in the quiet. At 11:27 p.m. in the dark, when you're too tired to analyze them, but too alert to ignore them. Meditation gives you space to feel things before they overwhelm you, not to fix them, but to acknowledge them. And when emotions are seen, they soften. That's what invites sleep, not pushing away, but welcoming in. And sometimes, you're just human. Look, some nights will be rough. You'll do all the right things and still feel wired. You'll try to meditate and feel more frustrated than relaxed. That's okay. Being human means being messy sometimes. Sleep isn't always linear. Calm isn't always instant. Healing isn't always graceful. But the practice is what matters. Each time you sit with your breath, even for 30 seconds, you're telling your nervous system, hey, you don't have to hold it all. I'm here now. That's not just meditation. That's kindness. That's the beginning of rest. Part 2. Stop trying to clear your mind. You're not broken. The most harmful meditation myth. Let's get this out of the way up front. You do not need to clear your mind to meditate. Whoever started that rumor probably meant well, but they've made more people quit meditation than they realize. Because what happens? You sit down, close your eyes, and your brain lights up like a pinball machine. Random memories, weird thoughts, mental shopping lists, suddenly important questions like, where do squirrels sleep? Flood your mind, and now you're frustrated, annoyed, or worse, convinced you're bad at meditating. You're not. You're just human. And your mind is doing what it was built to do. Think. The goal isn't silence, it's awareness. The magic isn't in controlling your thoughts, it's in changing your relationship to them. Thoughts aren't the enemy, they're just guests. Imagine your thoughts like people walking through a park. Some are loud, some are friendly, some are wearing ridiculous outfits, some you wish would just leave already. But you're sitting on a bench watching them pass by. You're not jumping up to chase them, you're not yelling at them to leave, you're just watching. That's what meditation teaches, to sit on the bench of your own mind. And over time, you stop reacting to every thought. You stop believing every story. You stop being hijacked by every mental flicker, especially the ones that show up right before bed. The sky and the clouds. There's a metaphor that's been used by everyone from Buddhist monks to modern therapists because it just works. Your mind is like the sky. Your thoughts are the clouds. Sometimes the sky is clear, sometimes it's stormy, but the clouds always pass. The sky, it remains. Even in the worst mental storm, you are still the sky. Meditation reminds you of that. You don't need to fix the clouds. You don't need to make them vanish. You just need to notice them and let them float on by. Letting go of getting it right. One of the biggest traps in modern meditation is this idea that we're supposed to do it correctly, as if there's a scorecard, as if your brain needs to be quiet for it to count. Here's a revolutionary idea. Every single time you notice your mind has wandered and you return to your breath, that's meditation. That is the practice. You might do that 50 times in 5 minutes. That's not failure. That's success. Each return is a representative. Each rep builds awareness, and awareness builds peace, even if the thoughts never stop. Stillness doesn't mean nothing is happening. It's easy to assume meditation is only working if we feel calm, but that's like assuming a workout is only effective if you're smiling the whole time. Some sessions are gentle, others feel restless. That doesn't mean they're wasted. Even when the mind feels chaotic, your body is learning, your nervous system is listening, your breath is signaling, it's okay, you're safe, you can let go, it's happening, even if it doesn't feel magical in the moment, especially at bedtime when the mind is tired but clingy, you may feel more distracted. That's not a reason to give up. That's the exact moment when the practice matters most. You're not too anxious for meditation. So many people say, I've tried meditating, but I'm too anxious. My brain won't stop. I hear you, truly, but that's like saying, I can't go to the gym because I'm too out of shape. That's why you go. If your mind races, if your thoughts loop, if you feel trapped in worry, that's not a disqualification. That's an invitation. Meditation won't erase your anxiety overnight, but it will help you hold it differently, not as a monster in the closet, but as a guest who eventually tires out and leaves. Every breath is a boundary. Every pause is a soft refusal to spiral, and that changes everything. You can meditate while lying in bed. Yes, really. Let's bust one more myth while we're at it. You don't have to sit cross-legged on a cushion, spine perfectly straight, eyes half closed like some kind of statue from a yoga studio window. If you're in bed and your only position is horizontal with blankets and eye bags, guess what? You can meditate. You can listen to your breath. You can notice the weight of your body. You can bring awareness to your chest, rising and falling. And if you drift into sleep halfway through, that's not failure. That's success. The night mind isn't logical, it's emotional. Here's something subtle but important. Your bedtime brain isn't looking for solutions. It's looking for safety. That's why overthinking doesn't lead to peace. That's why lists and problem solving only make it worse. Meditation speaks to a deep part of you, the part that doesn't need convincing, only soothing. And once that part feels heard, sleep slips in naturally, gently, quietly. Practice is the path. There's no trick, no secret mantra, no perfect playlist that guarantees peace. There's only this. You breathe, you notice, you return, again and again and again. And slowly, like water shaping stone, your mind learns to soften. The thoughts still come, but they don't stay. The worries still whisper, but they don't scream. The stories still swirl, but you're not lost in them anymore. You're just watching the clouds pass. And beneath them, stillness. Part 3. What meditation really does to your brain and body at night. Let's pull back the curtain. All right, we've talked about what meditation isn't. It's not about clearing your mind, reaching enlightenment, or forcing yourself into stillness. But now you might be wondering, what is it actually doing? I mean, beyond the poetic metaphors and calm-sounding voices on YouTube, what's going on inside when you sit or lie down to meditate? You're not alone in that question. The beautiful thing, science has finally caught up with what monks have known for centuries. And spoiler, It's kind of amazing. Your brain on meditation. Let's start with the part of you that refuses to shut up at 2 a.m. The brain. When you meditate, several regions in your brain light up or quiet down depending on the technique. But the key players in this story, the prefrontal cortex, responsible for thinking, planning, worrying. Yep, the overthinking HQ, the amygdala, your emotional alarm system, the hippocampus, memory and emotional regulation, the default mode network, DMN, basically the home of your inner chatter, mental time travel, and self-talk. Now here's the cool part. When you start to meditate, even if it's just following your breath or repeating a calming phrase, the prefrontal cortex starts to downregulate, meaning your brain activity begins to slow. You're not overthinking, you're just being. The amygdala also starts to quiet down, which reduces feelings of stress and anxiety. It's like telling your internal alarm bell, hey, no fire here, we're good. And the DMN goes offline, or at least turns the volume way down, so that background hum of mental noise, it fades. Meditation isn't just mental, it's physical. Let me ask you something simple. When was the last time you actually felt your breath? Not noticed it for a second and moved on, but truly felt it, the way it enters your nose, fills your lungs, and leaves your body. Most of us barely breathe properly when we're stressed. It becomes shallow, tight, rapid. But the moment we focus on it, something shifts. The vagus nerve, this beautiful winding nerve that connects your brain to your body, gets activated. And that's a game changer. When the vagus nerve is stimulated through deep, slow breathing, or humming, chanting, even sighing, it signals your parasympathetic nervous system to kick in. That's the rest and restore mode we talked about earlier. Your heart rate slows, your blood pressure drops, your digestion improves, your muscles start to unclench. It's like your entire body exhales. What about sleep specifically? Yes, the golden question. So how does meditation actually help you fall asleep faster and stay asleep longer? Here's what the data shows. Regular meditation improves melatonin production. That's the hormone responsible for helping you fall asleep. Your body naturally makes more of it in darkness. But meditation appears to boost it too. It helps reduce nighttime cortisol. Cortisol, the stress hormone, is supposed to be low at night. But when you're worried or overstimulated, it spikes. Meditation lowers cortisol levels naturally. Brainwave shifts. Meditation can guide your brain from beta waves, alert thinking, into alpha or theta waves, associated with relaxation and drowsiness. Basically, you're luring your mind into a sleepier state, gently. Improved sleep architecture. Studies suggest that meditators spend more time in deep, restorative sleep and less time tossing in light sleep or REM fragmentation. So, in short, you fall asleep faster, wake up less, and feel more restored. Not too shabby for just breathing, right? Think of it like a power-down sequence. Let's use an analogy, because hey, sometimes metaphors stick better than sciencey terms. Imagine your body is like a laptop. All day you're running apps, email, news, work, worry, conversations, expectations, reminders, a few emotional pop-ups, maybe a video or two you didn't ask for. By night, the system is hot. You can't just slam the lid shut and expect it to rest. You need a shutdown sequence. That's meditation. It tells all those background apps, hey, it's bedtime. You're not needed anymore. It doesn't force them off. It just lets them fade. The result? A deeper sleep, because you powered down gently, not abruptly. Consistency is more important than duration. Now here's where people trip up. They think they need to meditate for 30 minutes, sit in silence, have an out-of-body experience, or else it's not worth it. Nope. 5 minutes, even 2. Done consistently before bed, that's where the magic is. Meditation isn't about duration, it's about signal. You're sending your body and brain a signal. We're safe now, it's okay to rest. And that signal, when practiced daily, becomes a ritual. One your nervous system will start to recognize and respond to faster over time, like muscle memory, but for your peace. Let's not forget, it helps tomorrow too. We talk a lot about how meditation helps you fall asleep, but here's a bonus gift. It also makes your mornings better. How? You wake up with less anxiety. You're less reactive to stress. Your mind is clearer and less foggy. You feel more emotionally grounded. Your energy doesn't spike and crash as easily. Why? Because instead of ending your night with chaos or overstimulation, you ended it with intention. You closed the day instead of dragging it into tomorrow, and that's a quiet kind of power. TLDR, what's happening when you meditate before sleep? Let's wrap this section with a simple, no-fluff summary. You reduce activity in the overthinking part of your brain. You quiet emotional alarms, amygdala. You stimulate your parasympathetic nervous system. You increase melatonin, reduce cortisol. You shift into deeper, slower brainwave states. You sleep better and wake up more stable. And all of that, just from choosing presence over pressure, just from breathing with a little more care. Part 4, 5 gentle bedtime meditations you can actually stick with. So, you've made it this far. You understand why your mind won't sleep. You know what meditation really is and isn't. And you even know what's happening inside your brain and body when you do it. Now comes the practical part. You don't need a monastery. You don't need a guru. And you definitely don't need a special playlist named Sleep Zen 9-Hour Rain Jungle Ocean Edition. What you need is something simple, something soft, something that feels human, not mechanical, something that fits into your real, messy, overstimulated bedtime routine. Let's talk about 5 super gentle, no-pressure bedtime meditations for regular people with busy minds, sore bodies, and weird dreams. 1. The body scan before you spiral practice. Time needed 5 to 10 minutes best for racing thoughts, physical tension, emotional overload. How it works. This one's a favorite for a reason. You lie down, in bed, and slowly bring your attention to each part of your body, starting at the top of your head and moving down to your toes. Simple, right? Here's the magic. Instead of wrestling with your thoughts, you gently bring your awareness into the body. It anchors you in the now, and as each body part relaxes, your mind gets quieter, softer, sleepier. Try it like this. Start by noticing your breath. Nothing fancy, just in and out. Bring your awareness to your forehead. Let it soften. Move to your eyes, jaw, neck, shoulders, one by one. With each area, breathe in. Then exhale any tension. Work your way down to your chest, stomach, hips, thighs, knees, all the way to your toes. When you reach your feet, let your whole body feel heavy and supported. Stay there, just breathing, just being. Bonus tip, you can repeat silently in your head, I release, or let go as you move through each area. 2. The 4-7-8 breath time needed. 2 to 4 minutes best for shifting gears fast, anxiety at night, tension that creeps up from nowhere. Let's say you're lying in bed and suddenly your heart is racing. You're anxious. Nothing bad is happening, but your nervous system is fired up like it thinks you're being chased. This is where the 4-7-8 breathing technique comes in. Created by Dr. Andrew Weil, it's a scientifically backed way to flip your body's stress switch off and flip your rest switch on. Here's how you do it. Breathe in through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold your breath for 7 seconds. Exhale slowly through your mouth for 8 seconds. Repeat this 3 to 6 times. That's it. It slows the heart, stimulates the vagus nerve, lowers cortisol, and tells your brain, you're safe now. Pro tip, try doing this with one hand on your chest and the other on your belly. Let your breath drop lower each round. 3. The noting and letting go. Technique, time needed, 5 to 7 minutes best for overthinking, looping thoughts, Emotional replays. Sometimes thoughts just don't stop. You're lying there, replaying a conversation, predicting a disaster, or imagining what you should have said in that meeting. Instead of fighting the thoughts, this practice invites you to notice them and let them pass, like clouds. Here's how. Sit or lie comfortably. Close your eyes. Begin breathing naturally, gently. When a thought arises, and it will, just silently name it. Worry, planning, memory, judgment. Then return to your breath. No story, no engagement, just labeling. Why does this work? Because the moment you label a thought, you create space between you and the thought. You stop being pulled into it, and it loses power. Thought, what if I mess up tomorrow's presentation? Response, worry. Then back to breath. It's surprisingly freeing. 4. The candle flame visualization. No fire required. Time needed 6 to 10 minutes. Best for mental chatter, insomnia, busy brain syndrome. This is one for the visual folks. Close your eyes and imagine a candle flame. Small, steady, glowing. Not flickering wildly, just dancing softly in the dark. You focus on that flame. You breathe with it. You let it draw you in like a cozy little beacon. Every time your mind wanders, gently come back to the image of the flame. It's not about perfection, it's about focus. Over time, your brain learns to quiet down, not through force, but through gentle, continuous return. You don't need a real candle, just the image in your mind. But if you want to light one safely by your bed, go for it. Ritual helps. 5. The loving kindness sleep blessing time needed. 4 to 8 minutes best for emotional pain, loneliness, restless heart. This one's different. It's not about calming the body. It's about softening the heart. Because sometimes what keeps us awake isn't mental noise. It's emotional heaviness. Loving kindness meditation, or metta, is an ancient practice of sending goodwill to yourself and others. And it turns out it's incredibly effective before bed. Here's how. Lie comfortably. Close your eyes. Begin with yourself. Silently repeat, may I be peaceful. May I be safe. May I be free from suffering. Then imagine someone you love. May they be peaceful. May they be safe. May they sleep well. If you're feeling brave, try extending it to someone difficult. May they be peaceful too. Return to yourself. May I rest. May I be well. This practice shifts you from contraction to openness, from tightness to tenderness, from fear to rest. And sometimes that's exactly what sleep needs. But what if I fall asleep mid-meditation? That's the whole point, friend. Let go of the goal. Let go of doing it right. If you drift off halfway through a breath or a mantra, that's not a mistake. That's your nervous system accepting the invitation. That's your body whispering, thank you, I can rest now. Part 5. When nothing works and your mind just won't stop. Let's get real for a minute. Look, we've covered a lot. Breathing techniques, body scans, visualization, loving kindness, the neuroscience behind all of it. And you're probably thinking, okay, but what about the nights where none of it works? You know the ones. When your mind is sprinting, when your chest is tight, when you try everything and still feel like your brain's tap dancing on your sanity at 2 a.m. Yeah, those nights. So let's stop pretending we're always going to float into dreamland like a monk on a cloud. Some nights are just hard, and that doesn't make you broken, it makes you human. Sleep isn't the only goal. Peace is sometimes we confuse the two. We think, if I'm not asleep, I've failed. But the truth? There's a world of difference between resting and panicking about not sleeping. What if the practice isn't about knocking out cold? What if the real goal is to simply not suffer while you're awake? Because here's what happens. When you stop resisting the fact that you're awake, something shifts. You drop the inner fight. And oddly enough, that's when sleep has a chance to creep in. Or maybe it doesn't. But at least you're not at war with yourself anymore. The spiral of I should be asleep. Oh, it's real, And it's sneaky. It goes something like this. I need to fall asleep. I've got work in 6 hours. Why am I still awake? I did everything right. If I don't sleep soon, tomorrow will be awful. Why can't I just shut my brain off? Ugh, now I'm even more awake. Maybe I'll just check my phone for a second. And just like that, you're back at square one. The thought spiral feeds the insomnia, not because you're weak, but because your nervous system thinks there's a threat. And that threat is the pressure to sleep. The irony, the more you try to sleep, the more it slips away. What if you gave yourself permission to just rest? Here's a radical idea most of us never learned. It's okay to just lie there and rest, even if you don't fall asleep. No apps, no playlists, no hacks, just resting. Let your body be heavy. Let your eyes stay closed. Let your thoughts come and go like background static. You're not failing, you're resting. And rest, real, non-performative rest, is healing, even if it doesn't turn into sleep. Try this, the non-sleep sleep practice. It's simple, really. You lie in bed and remind yourself, I don't need to sleep right now, I just need to rest. Then you focus on your breath, not to fall asleep, but just to stay with it. You gently scan your body, not to force relaxation, but just to say, hey, I see you, you've done enough. No pressure, no agenda, just quiet presence. You can even whisper to yourself, softly if others are around, this moment is okay. I don't need to rush. My body knows what it's doing. The absence of pressure, that's where softness lives. Use the wakefulness. Here's something weird, but stay with me. What if you used this time, not in a be productive way, gross, but in a curious, spiritual, gentle way? Reflect on something kind you did this week. Mentally say thank you to the parts of you that carried you through the day. Practice loving kindness for someone you miss. Recall 3 things you're grateful for. No pressure, no performance. Or just breathe and say, this moment is enough. Nighttime is sacred. Wakefulness doesn't have to be a punishment. Sometimes it can be a quiet return to yourself. The gentle reframe. Instead of, why can't I sleep? Try, my body's still alert. That's okay. I'm just going to lie here and breathe. This isn't ideal, but it isn't dangerous. I'm allowed to rest even if I'm awake. This shift isn't about lying to yourself. It's about softening the edge of your experience. And when you soften the edge, your whole system starts to relax. That's when sleep comes, not by force, but by invitation. Last resort, get up, but do it kindly. Okay, real talk. If it's been hours and you're just done, you can get up. Really, it's not defeat, it's wisdom. But here's the key. What you do next matters. Don't turn on every light in the house. Don't scroll through your ex's Instagram or open email. Don't eat a bowl of sugar and caffeine disguised as cereal. Instead, keep the lights dim. Do something low stimulus. Gentle reading, journaling, light stretching. Try a warm herbal tea or simply sit quietly and breathe. Write down what's bothering you and leave it on the page. Then, when you feel sleepy again, go back to bed without pressure, like tucking yourself in as a gesture of self-compassion, not punish. So here we are. You've walked through the noise. You've sat quietly with your thoughts. You've given your body a chance to feel safe, just for a little while. And maybe you're still wide awake, or maybe your eyes are already heavy. Either way, it's okay. You showed up, you listened, you breathed, and that, my friend, is enough. The world will still be there in the morning, but right now, you get to rest. You get to lay down all the noise, all the doing, all the proving. Let the night hold you like a lullaby. Let your breath be the soft rhythm that reminds you you're safe, you're loved, and you're allowed to just be. If this helped calm your mind, even just a little, breathe in and give this video a like. It lets me know you were here and that this kind of gentle space matters to you. And if you'd like to walk this path together again, subscribe. Because every week we'll return to the breath, to stillness, to that quiet place inside you that never rushes, never judges, never leaves. Until next time, may your mind be soft, your heart be light, and your dreams be kind.